Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy DeMario and super excited to be talking to you guys tonight, all things about transition. So let's see. And we've got this recording. So we're going to get started, just jump right into it. And I won't be able to see the chat on my phone. So if there's any questions, if someone could unmute and let me know as we go along, that would be really helpful and great. All right. So, first of all, I want to just do a really quick overview for those of you that maybe have joined since September 1. This would be your very first transition. So, we want to make sure you have an understanding of what that might mean. I know it can be a lot of information to take in if it is your first transition. So, I'm just going to spend just a couple minutes kind of really quickly and then use the chat as well if you have additional questions. And I know there's a lot of great leaders and consultants on that'll be happy to answer those as well. So first of all, your best value is purchasing the transition kit. The transition kit is going to have all of the basic business supplies that you need to transition into the new catalog season. Okay. And to do so, you can add that to a party order, an individual order, or a consultant store order simply by typing the word transition and it will populate. So that's how you can order that. Again, that's the best bang for your buck for getting your business supplies. I would recommend also adding a product training guide. So every catalog season, we have a new product training guide that is available. So I would recommend you going ahead and adding that to that order as well. Those cost $2, so they're very inexpensive and something that you're able to add to any order. Okay, in addition to the transition kit, it's really important that you understand that we have a discontinued list. It's been floating around, so you've probably seen it. But as we transition through the month, any items that are on there are while supplies last. So if there's items on there that you've had someone mention they're interested in getting, or maybe you have an open party and you haven't submitted or you're holding the party till next week, if anyone has actually ordered any of the items on that list, make sure they understand that it is going to be while supplies last. So don't want to have any surprises when you go to close out that order and unfortunately you're not able to close that out. So one of the big things I would like to highly recommend, now this is your business, you get to make the decisions on how you decide to use it. We just try to share best practices. And one of those is we need to focus on the month of February. So the items that are currently available on your website and in the catalog is what I would highly recommend putting all of your priorities on, okay? It's fun to see the new stuff and to get the new stuff, but you want to be extremely cautious about sharing any of it because your focus should be on what's going to get my payday maximized on the 10th of March. And selling products or taking orders for items that are not happening until March are not going to help with that cause. So we want to be all in on February, just really putting all of your time and your attention focusing on February. So with that being said, as we progress through the month, especially like the last few days after you've accomplished your PRV goals, then it is safe to do some sneak peeks. Maybe you've seen something in the new catalog. For example, I know we've got a new mini warmer coming out that's got the dog paws on it. And so a lot of people are super excited about it. Maybe you've got some customers that you know love all things dogs. Well, fantastic. Don't tell them yet. Don't show them yet. Hold off. And then once we get closer to the end of the month, it'd be a great time for you to shoot them a personal message and say, hey, I saw this and I thought of you. Would you like to be one of my first to get something on the calendar for a booking so that you can earn it for free or half price? Like that is the perfect way to handle the new products that are coming, and it makes them feel special that you thought of them as well. So using those new products that are coming to get bookings and to focus more customer specific is a great idea. Okay. Another thing that I want to recommend, if you haven't already, and I did notice that Cincy on the Cincy Family Consultant page, they did a review recently on how to use your sales reports. They were focused more on limited time offerings and like past Disney purchases, but you can use those sales reports for any products that we've ever had. So if you haven't already, what you're going to want to do is you want to use those sales reports and see what items have any of your customers ordered that are on that discontinued list. For example, I have several customers that love Cinnamon Bear. So I am definitely going to be messaging them and say, hey, just so you know, February 28th, this scent is going out of the catalog. It may or may not ever come back. We have absolutely no way to know, which is the truth. We don't know. And if you would like to make sure that you get it forever, you can start a Scentsy Club subscription. It costs you nothing to join and it costs you nothing to leave. But that way you can put that cinnamon bear in there and know that you'll always have it forever and ever. And, some of us have been around a while and some of us get kind of spoiled and we're like, oh, Sunkissed Citrus has been around forever. It's not going anywhere. Well, guess what? It didn't come back last time, right? So we really don't know. And the only way we can do a really good job of taking care of our customers is making sure that we are sharing with them anything that we know that is leaving. I do a lot of events and I can tell you, I have so many people come through and ask about a scent and I have to say it's no longer available. And they're so frustrated that their consultant did not let them know it was leaving. Because I'll say, if you ever have a scent in the future, let us know because we can start a club subscription for you. And they have no idea what I'm talking about because no one ever told them. And as a consultant, that is our responsibility in our business to be doing that. We're the ones who should be making sure we're taking care of our customers. That's customer service, right? That's what's going to keep them coming back. And once they have a club subscription, it's not something that can be transferred to another consultant. So unless they decide to become a consultant, which of course would be fabulous, that club subscription is going to stay tied to you indefinitely. If they were to become a consultant, they can then have it rolled up to them, which obviously makes sense, right? So it's really important that you're making it a priority and you're taking the time to have those conversations with your customers so they know you got their back when it comes to their favorite scents. Okay, so one of the other things that I wanted to make sure that we talked about was the Cause Warmer. So the Cause Warmer is also going to be retiring. And if you haven't already sold 4 of the Cause Warmer, then rally around that cause. Number 1, so that we can help increase what we're able to give back, right? But secondly, when you go to Reunion, you get a warmer, a Cause Warmer, a ribbon, I should say, a Cause ribbon to add to your lanyard if you sell 4 of the Cause products. So if you haven't done that yet, you've still got time to support and rally around the Cause Warmer and to ensure that you get that ribbon for your lanyard at Scentsy Family Reunion. Okay, so one of the things I also wanted to talk about, even though it's not necessarily a part of transition, I think it's important to bring up because it was something that was recently introduced and I'm super excited about, and that is the new Yes You Can incentive. So the Yes You Can incentive is valid in February. And again, it's another tool that you can use to help set and accomplish your PRV goals. Now, depending on what your sales or PRV history looks like, will determine what, if any, of those possibilities are an option for you. Just to give you an example, because I had a couple of newer consultants messaging me earlier today, and they were like, well, I didn't really understand. Well, they happen to be newer consultants. So my question to them was, when you go to your workstation and you pull up your reporting tab and you go back this month and next month, have you done 250 PRV either this month or last month? Because they've only been in for 2 months. And her answer was no. She did some PRV last month and she's got some PRV this month. So guess what? You are eligible for this incentive because she has yet to hit the 250 PRV in a month. Now, of course, I'm going to encourage her to stretch that PRV goal and try to hit the 500 or even the 2,500 PRV goal. But if you or any of your team members have not ever achieved the 250 in a month PRV goal, then you would be eligible for that incentive and the opportunity to earn the warmer, the 10 new bars, and the molds. And obviously, you'll get rewarded with the commission as well. So if you need more specifics about that, check your news tab and you'll find all of the specific details in the breakdown. But I at least wanted to dangle that out there again, because I think we're early enough in the month. It's only the 10th of the month. There's plenty of time for you guys to be setting and crushing those PRV goals. And this can just be an extra thing that's been dangled for some of you that haven't accomplished those things yet, right? Okay. So I also want to talk about because a part of course, the transition month is the fact that we have a new catalog that starts on March the 1st. So on March the 1st, you're going to see all things. I mean, we're going to be inundated with so much information regarding the new spring summer catalog. Okay. So that is when you're going to go all in spring summer. Now, I do want to do a little commercial. If you do have any of the spring, or I'm sorry, the fall, winter business supplies left over, don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. Instead, you can continue to hand them out when you go to the doctor's office or when you're out and about, you go places. A lot of times people like to put a sticker. They'll put a sticker on whatever the business supplies they have left over that just says something like, contact me for a current catalog or for current products. Because again, the majority of the items are still valid. I mean, there's going to be quite a few that aren't, but it's still got your information. It can still drive them to your website because you're going to have everything labeled, obviously, right? So I want to make sure that you guys know you do not need to disregard. Just make sure you put something on it or indicate when you're sharing it that we do have a new catalog, and you'd be happy to share that with them as well. Okay, so I wanted to touch base on that. But remember, if you're ordering your supplies, now is a good time to get started ordering those business supplies so that you can get ahead of the game. I can see Peggy, she's already working on hers. And, it's great to have everything together and just be prepared and organized. I know in recent conversations with some of my team, organization was one of their main goals for 2025. Well, if that's you, then don't procrastinate. Go ahead and get those business supplies ordered for spring, summer, and start getting them prepared so you're ready to go right out of the gate on March the 1st. And again, you can add business supplies to a party order, an individual order, or a consultant store order. So that will save you on shipping if you add those items to a party or an individual order. And just a little note, I've been doing this now for quite some time. And I wish I could tell you that I no longer had to learn lessons, but sadly, I still fall victim to having learning lessons the hard way. Make sure when you are ordering those business supplies that you are very, very intentional at specifying the correct country and the correct language. Because not just one time, but 2 times I have ordered business supplies in the wrong country and language, Canadian French. That was very helpful for someone who lives in the Midwest. And then once I ordered US Spanish. So that was, again, not real helpful considering I didn't have a large community that speaks Spanish. So just take my little advice. Make sure that you're checking and double checking whenever you're ordering your business supplies to ensure that you get the right ones. Now, another little tip that I would like to make sure you guys are aware of, and this just isn't exclusive to Transition Month, but it's just a really good month to make sure that you are doing this. And that is any month or any time that you're doing a direct ship order to a customer, you can add a single catalog. So if you're placing a direct ship order to a customer, you simply add the items that they're wanting. And then if you type in the word catalog, it's going to pull up the option of adding a single catalog. So right now, for the month of February, I am adding the spring, summer individual catalog to all of my direct ship orders. So they are going to have that information as soon as they get that new catalog. And it only costs, I think, 90 cents. So it's less expensive than for me to go ahead and just mail one, because I know, and of course I don't have the spring, summer yet, but I have the fall, winter costs around $2.22 US in postage to mail. So as many as I can send out through Scentsy for 90 cents included in their order, absolutely a great thing to make sure that you're doing. And again, that is not specific to Transition Month, but as of March 1, they would be $1 to add. So still, again, still a great way to do that. Let me just see if I can mute. Sorry, I can do this on my phone. Or if you guys can just mute yourselves, that would be really helpful, because I can't get the panel to come up to let me mute. So, okay. Sorry about that. All right, so I wanted to make sure that I shared that. Now, as we talk about spring, summer, and a new catalog season, what that can mean for some people, whether you've been around for a very short time or you've been around for a very long time, It's a great reason to relaunch your business, right? Every catalog season, just make it a habit of doing a business relaunch. Okay. So part of that might consist of doing an open house. And don't think you have to have all the things. An open house can be very simple. It can be just your personal items and some business supplies, some catalogs of product sheets. Have a cookie tray and maybe, maybe some wine if you're a drinker, like whatever you want it to be. It can be whatever you want it to look like. But just a reason for people to come and smell the testers and to have an opportunity to experience the products. So an open house is something I highly recommend. Another thing that I really recommend is you putting a lot of focus, especially initially in the very beginning, on fundraising. Because again, people like the opportunity with the scent circles and with the flowers. I've seen a lot of people doing some successful fundraisers, but it'll be all new and different products. So maybe they did a fundraiser in the fall. It's a great time for another one to do in the spring, because those same people are now going to want spring and summer scents and fragrances. So keep that in mind too, to make sure that you are always looking for and examining the opportunities for fundraising. Anyone that hosted with you, regardless of what type of party they might have had with you last year in the fall, make sure that you're offering them the first opportunity to have the spring summer parties with you as well. And another thing that I like to use, those sales reports. Remember how I talked to you about the sales reports earlier? For those of you, again, that have not had an opportunity to really explore those, go to the Scentsy Family Consultant page on Facebook. And there you'll find, just a couple days ago, they did a little tutorial on how to use the sales reports. If you're not on social, if you go to your workstation under reporting, you will see the sales reports there. And my guess is, although I can't verify this for fact, there probably is a training in the workstation under the training center as well on sales reports, or reach out to your upline. Of course, we would be more than happy to assist you with that if you do need some special steps and you're not on social, to check out the Scentsy Family Consultant page. But another reason to use that is come now when we find out, we all are going to get to see, or we've all seen the new catalog and we see all the items that are returning. That's another reason to use those sales reports and say, okay, so who ordered Camus Camus last spring? I need to let them know their scent is coming back, right? So you can use them to also do follow up with your customers and share that some of their scents are coming back that maybe don't already have a club subscription. So those are really good tools. Like I said, if you guys are not using that, make sure that you start, because it's a fantastic tool that home office has made available to us. Okay, so if you guys can't keep coming on, if you could mute, maybe I can now. Let's see.
Okay. Hey, Tracy, if you want to make me a co-host, I can help you with that too.
I appreciate that. I'm going to. Okay, excellent. I just did. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, on the phone, it's not as easy, but at least we got this going. Okay, so that covers the majority of my content. I know we have some other successful transitioners on this call. So I would like to see if any of you guys have any tips that you would like to share that would also be helpful to those that might be going through their first transition with us. Or if there's any questions that might have popped up in the chat, or if any of you that are on have any questions for me, feel free to use the chat or to unmute.
So I've been doing Scentsy for a while now, and I just found out that you can look and see if any of your emails, just for the newer people, if you send out emails, because you can send out emails, everybody, besides the newsletter that goes out once a month, and you can also edit your newsletter if you want to. You can actually see if any of the emails get sent back. Thank you for chiming in. Sorry. You can see if any of the emails bounce back, and if they do, you can reach out if you have their number and be like, hey, I want to make sure I wrote your email down for, correctly.
Mm-hmm. No,
Thanks, guys.
That is a really good tip. Thank you so much. Yes, I love that. So some of you guys may have noticed that in the last few months, they have done a rehaul on our emails through the workstation. And it is a fantastic feature that now you can see, if you go back into your communications on your workstation, you can tell if anything was undeliverable, and that's what she's referring to. And you can click on them. And again, that gives you another reason to have to reach out. I love that. That's a fantastic tip. It also shows you how many opens you have, what your open rate is, and such as well. So there's a lot of really new and good information and some really neat templates too that you can utilize in your workstation for email. And speaking of that, just because she brought it up, I think I'll just kind of tag onto that a little bit. And that is that we are really fortunate that we've got a great training team. And not long ago, Jonay did a really good training on email marketing. And she also referred to the workstation training as well. So if any of you guys missed her training, if you go to your workstation under training events and go to past events and scroll down, you'll see the email marketing training that was done. It was done within the last 3 to 4 months by Jonay. It was some really good content. And the reality is, most of us are probably not sending enough emails. We think it's a thing of the past, and the reality is it's actually not. It's still very effective. And in fact, it is a lot more likely to be opened and or seen than those of us posting occasionally on socials. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
What I'm doing, since I just got my transition kits
Penny, let's-
and some of the bars, I got the bars. What I'm gonna try and do with my February, since I can't seem to get anybody to bite to do parties or social events or anything like that, I am going to offer the first 5 people that message me that want to set up a party, if they reach their party minimum of 200, they're going to get a square of each one of these new 10 bars. And I'm hoping to get a few doing it that way so they can smell the fragrances before anybody else. And even if they don't, I've printed out these that I'm going to use the stickers on. And so they'll still get to smell the fragrances, but they just won't get to utilize them in their warmers. I'm going to try it. We'll see.
I think that's an awesome tip. And I appreciate you sharing that with us and sharing the visuals too. So fantastic. That's really good. Excellent. What a good booking tip. Yes, because remember, all of us have been challenged and encouraged to get at least 5 bookings that are non-consultant parties. So I love that. That is great. Thank you, Peggy. Anyone else?
Tracy, I don't know if you covered this, but just one thing to remember too, the catalogs are also 10% off during this month. So it is a good reminder, if you do love to hand out the catalogs, to get stock up while they're 10% off. And I don't think, if you mentioned it, I'm sorry, my brain's slightly gone.
Okay.
Also, don't forget about the season sales kits. You got the home, laundry,
yes.
body, bars.
I did. Yeah.
Those are really good ways to get product early because it's a business expense, also a write-off. And then you can use those kind of like what Peggy said, or I use the 10 bars and I make samples with those for my customers. So, and then the warmers too, I like to do that. I'm going to do videos of each of them. I already have them. So I can have videos already ready before they come out, ready to show people. So those season sales kits are a great way for us consultants to get things ahead of time. And you can only get 1 per kit. So just
yes, thank you. Because that was on my list and I skipped over it. So thank you so much. I mean, not intentionally, obviously, I just looked past that line. Yes, those are great. And like she said, you do get to write those off as a marketing expense if that's how you're using them. And season sales kits can also be added to party orders as well. And you do get PRV on them. So you can add them to a party or an individual order. So that's a really nice touch there, because that way you're going to get the PRV as well. So yeah, I love that. And like she said, if you get, like, for example, the home or any of them for that matter, going live and then sharing, and you can do little sneak peeks, you can just pick one and go live and share, like this new warmer that's going to be coming. So you're not sharing all the things right now, but you're just slowly getting people ramped up and excited. And then March 1, it's go time with all of those new things, right? So very good. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you sharing that because I did overlook that on my notes. Well, we have 2 more minutes if anybody has anything else they would like to ask or add.
All right, I'm gonna add one more thing. Another thing I always like to do and try to get customers do is the last chance first glance parties. I don't know if you mentioned that, but that's something I
did.
like to do towards the end of the month, but I try to get people now. And I kind of break their parties into two. One, so they can, all of them and their friends can get the last chance at all the fall, winter, and current, products at the 10% off. And then I give them a, sneak peek of the first glance and also get orders for both. So usually I just hope, they get enough for 200 in each and they kind of have a party for each catalog so they can get product now in this catalog and in the new catalog. So last chance, I'm sure all of us have posted a ton about. So just Google that. There's lots of last chance first glance parties. So just
Well,
something.
and it's interesting, actually, Sarah, now that you said that, like, that's not something I've personally ever done. So I do kind of have a question on that. Do you close out the party or you leave it open so that they take advantage of both?
I break it into two parties. So I
Okay.
try to get them up to 200 in each, which will
Got it.
be 250 in March, 200 this month. But that way, anyone who wants the new scents, I'll be like, great, let's get 6 of the new, but let's get 6 of these while they're on sale at 10% off.
Right.
And so it's kind of a little of both. And I usually have never had an issue of getting a party up to 200 in both. And sometimes if maybe one party's smaller, maybe I can combine them and then split the host rewards for both. But it's nice because then they can take advantage of the 10% and they're also ordering in both. And I usually have people ordering in both sides to help their parties up. So
That's awesome. Very good. Yes, thank you.
Tracy, one more thing.
Yes.
If people can't afford or choose not to do the catalogs because they are a little more expensive, don't forget you get a lot of the showcase brochures, or you can get 1 pack of these. So you get 150 of these product lists, and you can tag it down here and you can hand these out too. And these go a long way. They don't have the fragrances. They have the fragrances, but not like what's in them. But if you're just starting out, these are what I started out with when I first started selling a while back. And unless somebody buys a warmer, I really don't give these out. I tend to give more of these and the product list. So if you're on a tight budget, I would suggest the showcase brochures and or the product lists.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good. In fact, someone did recently ask me how often they hand out the catalogs. And I said, for me personally, my catalogs go to my best customers, they go to my hosts, and they go to the people that I'm talking about joining or that maybe just joined. And so that way they have something like right now while they wait for their kit to arrive. And then I do love the showcase brochures because they do have the scent descriptions in them. The main difference is it doesn't have the fragrance grid and it doesn't have the bundle and save pages. But other than that, I think it just really does a great job of showcasing. I mean, it's really nice, like looks really nice quality. And I think you get a much better look of the, of the products. But for pennies, those product sheets, like she said, I mean, they cost you pennies. So you can hand those out to the masses, which is really nice.
So I just wanted to say something really quick, Tracy. I know we're out of time, but I just wanted to share every transition that I do. I love to include like what my favorite scents are, like my favorite 6-pack, and I do like to include some wax cash. And they're just little coupons. You can do them however you want, whatever you're mailing, if you're just doing the showcase brochure or whatever, but it's a fun way to take care of your customers and to let them know like, okay, these are 80s favorites. So I might try these. Like this sounds good. But it's fun to kind of get your personal touch on that. But I love, and I've done them this size too, like long size to just go in an envelope too. But anyways, wax cash, and then you can offer a coupon, but it just make sure you put redeemable through me only. Like you can't do it online. So anyways, but just another thing to add to your transition ideas, like just taking care of your people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind sharing those links with us and then we can share those with our teams, that would be fantastic.
yes. Yeah,
Very
I'll get
good.
them.
Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate you guys showing up. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this will be recorded and shared out. So if you do have any team members that have joined since September the 1st, it's really important that you are sharing this or having the conversations with them and helping them through this transition. So thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate it very much. And we wish you guys the best week.